So it's not just weird and obscure games that I like, it's also weird and obscure accessories. And when I was younger, I remember seeing an accessory in old video game magazines. It was a one-handed controller for the PlayStation 1 that was supposed to be good for RPGs. And recently I went on eBay and I found one boxed for like $8. It's the ASCII Grip One-Handed Controller for the PlayStation 1 by ASCIIWARE. And it's weird, I really wanted to check it out, and brand new in the box, it was like $8. The box got a little mangled during shipping, but hey, it's here. I haven't even taken it out of the box yet, but I am going to do a review, and we're going to do it a little bit differently. As you can probably tell right now, I don't have a script, so these are going to be all live impressions. I've got a stack of RPGs that I'm going to check out and see how it controls, and let you know, just live, raw, how it goes. So, let's get started. Okay, so right off the bat, it actually feels really good to hold. It's got the rubber grip on the bottom. You got your X and circle buttons. Then you've got 2 triangle and 2 square buttons because you can use this right or left-handed depending on which hand you use. You've got the L1, L2, R1, and R2. Select start up here. And the D-pad. The D-pad actually feels really good. It's a little bit rounded. It feels nice. It feels really good to hold. It's not unlike the nunchuck for the Wii, but I mean naturally with the nunchuck you have the Wii remote in the other hand, but this is one-handed, as the name implies. But it feels really good. It feels like it was just kind of molded to fit your hand really well. You've got the 2 important buttons down here, because you know X and circle are typically your confirm and cancel buttons for RPGs. So yeah, just first impressions. I like it, so let's see how it holds up during play. Alright, so Final Fantasy VII, most famous RPG on the PlayStation. Figured this would be a good one to start with, since it's a 3D game, but it only uses D-pad movement. So we'll see how it feels. But the battles seem easy enough. I mean, everything is going to be with these bottom buttons here, so you're really only using your pointer finger and then your thumb for the D-pad. You know, you can open the menu. Navigating the menu seems easy enough. D-pad actually feels really, really nice. This is a very, very good D-pad. I would definitely say that it's better than the original PlayStation D-pad. The buttons have a nice amount of spring to them. They're not mushy, but they've definitely got some give to them, so they just feel pretty good. And yeah, navigating through menus is easy. Alright, so Final Fantasy VIII, which I wanted to do because it's a later PS1 game that used the DualShock analog controls. So I wanted to see how something that, you know, was kind of made for the DualShock worked with just D-pad. And, I mean, I don't think it's a limitation of the controller, but it is a little bit harder to control with just the D-pad. But, I mean, it works okay. The DualShock is probably a little bit better, but, you know. Just basic control issues. Seems to work okay. I was thinking about how in a Final Fantasy game, how you would run away from a battle, you know, with all the buttons down here, because normally you would hold, you know, the 4 shoulder buttons to run away, but they're all down here. But if your thumb's big enough, you can hit all 4 at one time, so no worries about that if you like to run away from a lot of battles. But yeah, for Final Fantasy VIII, it seems to work okay if you get used to it. The DualShock is probably a little bit better because it was made with that in mind. That's not necessarily a knock on the controller itself, but just if you were using the D-pad on a regular PlayStation controller, you'd run into the same issues. Alright, so we're doing Final Fantasy VI on the Final Fantasy Anthology Collection because I figured, hey, you know, these 2D games were built specifically for D-pads, so we'd see how this goes. I mean, I guess I should mention that, you know, as I'm playing these games, like, this controller does feel really, really nice to hold. I mean, it's essentially the Wii nunchuck. It fits perfectly in the hand, the buttons are nice. I really like using it. And, I mean, I am holding it this way so the camera can see it, but, I mean, if, you know, just drop your hand like this and use it, and it's totally comfortable. You don't have to, like, hold your wrist in a weird way. But, no, I mean, it controls like a dream, if I could be a little bit, you know, stupid. But yeah, this D-pad is really nice. It's got a really nice amount of spring to it. It's got a nice kind of dip in the middle, so it fits your thumb really well. Like I said before, definitely better than the stock PS1 D-pad. It just feels really good. Definitely good for games like this. Alright, so next is Final Fantasy Tactics, and yes, I do actually have RPGs that aren't Final Fantasy. It's just these are ones that people are most familiar with, and so I thought they would make good examples. I wanted to do Final Fantasy Tactics since it is a little bit of a weird control scheme because everything is grid-based and isometric. But it did come out before the DualShock, so it was all controlled with the D-pad. So, you know, navigating through the menu seems easy enough. You can get to the shoulder buttons easily enough for, like, all your zooming in and out and tilting the camera and all that fun stuff. So, I think a game like this would actually be really ideal for this controller because, you know, everything's at your own pace. It's a game that's designed to have you take your time. And it just seems to work out pretty well. So now I wanted to try a game that this controller is not designed for in any way, shape, or form. So we've got Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Just kind of want to test it out and see how it goes, see what we can do. Just kind of get my bearings here. So let's give me my attack, my jump. All right. Let's see how well I can do. Crap. So this doesn't work out very well because your square button is right next to the D-pad and square is your attack. So you keep having to stop to attack. Yeah, like your reflexes do not work well for you with an action game on this controller. Nice thing though is you've got two square buttons, so depending on where your thumb is, you can hit it okay. So yeah, I guess if you like playing Castlevania really, really slow and really, really poorly, then this controller could work out for you. Otherwise, as far as this goes, would not recommend. No. So yeah, that's the ASCII Grip One-Handed RPG controller for the PlayStation 1. I actually really like it. It feels really good. Ergonomically, it's exactly the same as the Wii nunchuck. I mean, I know I said it a few times, but it's absolutely true. So if you like the nunchuck, you're gonna like this, because, you know, you've got your most, you know, useful buttons down on the bottom here for RPGs, so you're good to go. Everything else is easy to reach, and the whole thing just feels really, really nice. It's constructed very well. I like the feel of the buttons, and the D-pad is great. Probably one of the better D-pads I've used, period. So yeah, I mean, I spent a little bit of time with it today. It's great. You can kind of hold your arm in any position, and it works. Your other hand is free to eat Doritos and chug Mountain Dew, or whatever you feel like doing. Yeah, I mean, when I go back and play Final Fantasy Tactics and stuff, I mean, I'm going to use this controller. I really like it. It feels good. But yeah, I mean, I've got my copy completely brand new on eBay for $8 with free shipping. I'd say it's definitely worth it, even just as a novelty piece, even if you don't plan on using it. But if you do find one out in the wild, or if you feel like going on eBay and grabbing one, just even out of sheer morbid curiosity, it's great. And as a bonus, it's really nice to use for RPGs. So yeah, that's the ASCII Grip. I didn't know how to end that.